Hello everyone, so we just had Sage release into Marvel Snap, and I did run a few builds with it. I think Sage is a really fun card, but I haven't found a build that just absolutely feels broken for her. She feels like an okay card if you use enablers, but enablers like Mr. Negative or Wong a lot of times can be easily countered, and so then that has a feel bad of its own. Otherwise, she just feels like a good, more flexible Wolfsbane, while still being relatively close to that power level. It can go higher, so the ceiling is higher, but it's a little bit easier to drop it on tempo and get about the same value a Wolfsbane would get at the end of the game. And so I did run several builds. I ran a Mr. Negative build that is a little bit different than what I've seen running around, and I had a pretty good run of like 8-1, but then I had some technical issues with the recording, and they didn't record any of the audio, and so I had to scrap those. If you guys really want to see me run this build, let me know. I'll run the Sage Mr. Negative build. It was fun, and you're able to steal a lot of high cube, high variance games away, but it can be countered pretty easily, so you have to be patient with a Mr. Negative. You have to be okay losing those 1 and 2 cube games, and then moving on to find those 4 and 8 cube victories where you can. And so as far as today's build, we're running a deck that I call Broken Cards, Broken Deck, Broken Game. And so this is an accumulation of cards that are just insanely strong right now, and a lot of them are Series 4, Series 5. So we have White Widow that is just an insane tempo play, being able to help you position your cards so that you can get a strategic Red Guardian off before they have a chance to play anything else on turn number 3, or you can position a Negasonic to explode whatever they play next, or you can use it and save it for a turn 5 play with a Daredevil Read so that you can try to find a way to cap out the opponent's key locations, whether that be a Wong in Mystique lane and then all of a sudden they can't re-trigger a Hazmat. You have a lot of uses for that White Widow, even if you don't get the full 2/6 value from it. A lot of times just being able to clog the opponent's board for something cheap can provide so much flexibility that she earns her spot in most builds. In addition to that, we have Red Guardian, fantastic cheap value card. At worst, he's a 3/3. At best, he's a 3 a million. Being able to take away one of the opponent's key value cards, so whether that be an Iron Man, a Dracula, or really anything else, an Angela, a Mobius, you can get a lot of utility from Red Guardian. And can you build a cohesive deck without him? Yeah, absolutely. Does he help most decks that he's in? Also, yes, absolutely. And so then moving on to the lower half of the build, we have the Broken Leech into Blink combo. We have the backup line of Jubilee to fish into our deck a little bit further, but the core idea is Leech into Blink gives us the counterplay to like Hella builds and a lot of strong on reveal abilities, and then it also allows us to have that really strong power presence on the board so we can outvalue and counter the opponent's plays at the same time. And then right now we have the Claw coming in at 5 cost, 12 power presence on the board. He can give you sneaky wins into locked down locations where the opponent used a Professor X and assume that they have the win. He can help you reach those hard to reach locations and just provides those big high cube, high variant swings back in your favor. And this deck does a really good job of fighting for tempo the entirety of the game. And so something like Negasonic on the last turn to destroy the last card slot that the opponent has in a location can be so detrimental, destroying those big inverted Iron Men or whatever it may be to really tie together the opponent's combo, and you can just destroy it for a cheap 3 cost. And so on the last turn, you can do a 3 cost and then a White Widow for the 2 cost, or a 3 cost Negasonic and Red Guardian. You have a lot of flexibility in that last turn play if you don't end up going something like Doctor Doom or Red Hulk. And so a lot of flexibility with this deck, a lot of ways to find ways to win, and that's why I feel like it is a broken deck, broken cards, broken game. They are expensive, they are oppressive, and they are just so very strong to play. We're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. I went on an absolute tear with this list. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoy. Jeff thinking that that would win them Nova Roma. That's a read. I think Red Hulk comes down here. And if so, perfect. Beautiful read, beautiful win. We're going to steal the 4 cubes away from Brown Fawn. Just that flexibility of the sneaky claw play. We had Jeff as that kind of buffer, but it just wasn't quite able to work out for us when we needed to. The Jubilee into the Red Hulk gave us enough power in this left lane. It's just a broken card, a broken combo, broken game. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Strong Guy And is that KM best? I don't keep up with the stream, so I'm not entirely for sure. But I feel like Strong Guy was one that KM best ran for a while. So they're playing Kitty Pride. We're going to be seeing if we can fight for initiative. Right now, we don't have any great opening lines. Now, if they just do Kitty Pride this turn, then the Nebula kind of leaves us a little bit of room for opening. It doesn't. They have Jeff, and so Nidavellir is a big location. Let's go ahead and play Red Guardian into the left lane. We either hit their Kitty Pride, if that's what they drop there, or their Jeff. Or I guess Hope Summers could have been a potential, but we're going to knock out their Jeff so that they can't move it. They have the Kitty Pride here, which is great for them. Let's go Leech into the right lane. Leech is just so detrimental right now. Green Goblin? What? Okay. Not what I would have expected to see. The Green Goblin coming down is treacherous, but I get it. They could be running a Sage deck, right? Sage here could be pretty decent. They never White Widow us here, right? That's investing too much into that lane. We said hopingly. I'm going to go ahead and do Jubilee into the right lane. We'll do Jubilee in the right lane. The Nidavellir bonus is so beneficial and gives us flexibility to play some additional cards. Okay, so what is the snap from? I think we're okay sticking it out and seeing. That is a lot of Flood from Strong Guy here. And so Jubilee pulls into Dr. Doom, which is going to cap out our left lane. Another Hope Summers. So much energy. And then the Havoc comes down. Very interesting Havoc line. Not one you see very often either. This location is just nuts. So much energy. The Sacred Timeline giving them the extra Hope Summers, which I did not anticipate. So 23 power in the Nidavellir location. This will get +4. So we have to do something like this, but they could easily play more power in Nidavellir than what we can stop, I think. What a wild one. We're going to go ahead and lock it in. I think we lose in Nidavellir. Otherwise, we can hold it down in the Shadowland location. So that is a lot of cards in Nidavellir. So I'm pretty sure they win over there. The White Widow comes down. The Kitty Pride, and something big. The green... Hold on. The Green Goblin?
Victory.
Man, so much energy. My goodness, we will absolutely take it where we can. We will grab the 4 cubes that I was pretty confident we lost. We will gladly grab them, though. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, first up we have Mr. Fudge. The first location is X-Mansion, and so Nebula comes down into that lane. We do have White Widow to help finish capping that one out. We have our Daredevil to get a read on the opponent. I'm going to go ahead and play Daredevil over there. I like the idea of being able to get a clear read on turn number 5 to potentially cap out a location. So they have Nebula and Sunspot. A Killmonger would just be beautiful. Or a Red Guardian. Red Guardian would be incredible as well. Let's do Nebula into the Atlantis location. Let's do Jeff into the left lane to stop Nebula from scaling. And then we are inching towards turn number 5. I like pushing to have initiative going to turn number 5 so we can drop a surprise Negasonic. Unfortunately, the Polaris comes down and pulls our Nebula over, but we get the gigantic Giganto, which is so beautiful to see. I'm going to go ahead and play Leech, and we're going to throw it into the left lane. We're going to see if maybe we can push for priority going into turn number 5. Then maybe we can sneak a Negasonic onto the opponent. Maybe we can drop a Widow's Bite to finish capping out a location. Maybe we just drop Jubilee in hopes to dig for the Blink. I don't know. Either way, the X-Mansion RNG Casino just did not operate in their favor. And so we had a very big tempo swing. We will push it when we can. That is worthy of the snap. We'll go ahead and take the one. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Sir Stizzy. The first location is... Next up we have Sir Stizzy. I don't know if I said first or next. Next up we have Sir Stizzy. The first location is Death's Domain. So getting something like Jeff onto the board and then moving him over is pretty beneficial. And so Kunlun comes down. Their Nightcrawler, although it's a 6 split, is going to be a primary target for our Red Guardian. We want to try to limit them from moving those cards over if we can. Probably won't be able to in the long run, but it is a nice thought nonetheless. And so Baxter Building comes down. We do have the Daredevil to get a precise read on turn number 5. Let's go ahead and play Red Guardian. Then we have the Leech coming down on 4 into the Blink switch. What? we both dropped the Red Guardian, and so they can't move. We don't get a turn 5 read. It is just interesting nonetheless. And so let's play for Baxter Building. We're going to go Leech. We're going to go Blink Rotation. We're hoping that we don't draw into our Red Hulk by then, because then we do have Dr. Doom to push into the left lane if it looks like they're going to pressure the Baxter Building location heavily. With it being a Leech play, I kind of want to snap into it, but I'm not going to. We're not going to push for the snap at this point. The Iron Lad comes down, and it ends up hitting Nebula, which is interesting. Not fantastic for them, but interesting nonetheless. We do have Red Hulk still in our deck, so this is going to be a guaranteed rotation into that Red Hulk. Right now, unfortunately, we don't have Negasonic. Otherwise, we could use it as a way to, like, protect the Baxter Building location. Their Legion comes down. I had a small heart attack for a second, thinking all the locations were going to change, but he did get hit with the Leech. And so the 6 split, not so sick follow through. We will take the 1 cube where we can. This is one of those decks that you're going to get a lot of retreats. It's going to put opponents into unwinnable positions. And so we'll take the 1 cube. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, so it must be a really small pool of players, because now we have Fudge again, which we had them a couple of games ago. We lost 1 for 4, which I ended up cutting. It wasn't a good moment for us. I did end up cutting it out, but we've only played maybe 4 or 5 games max in between the last time we ran into Fudge, which I think it was even less than that. And so our pool of players is unfortunately small. The Widow's Kiss in the right lane helps give us initiative, give us priority. We have Red Guardian, so we could further push this location if we need to. I'm going to go ahead and suck it up. I'm going to play Negasonic into Krakoa. I think they'll eventually have to play a card there. This makes it a little bit harder for them to do that, especially if their cards aren't curving out incredibly low energy or low curve. So they have the Psylocke, which gives them 5 energy on this turn, which is a little bit scary, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do Jubilee. We have a lot of good pulls. Potential bad pull being Claw. So maybe we play Jubilee over here, just in case we pull out the Claw. I don't want to accidentally chunk him into the right location. And so Jubilee comes down. Their Nebula does scale in the right lane. Oh, goodness, what an awful Jubilee pull. Come on now. They storm the left location, which is fine. We blow it up. They have the Sunspot, which will continue to scale. Also, still fine. We have our giant Red Hulk. We now have Claw in hand. And so Jubilee will flip into Dr. Doom. So I think we just go ahead and play Blink here as a way to push as much power into this left lane as we can. And then it just comes down to slapping down Red Hulk wherever we want. I don't think they're going to be able to outpower what we have here. And then the guaranteed Dr. Doom is just going to be a little bit too strong. We're going to snap into the Blink, because we do want to push our advantage where we can. And then we'll go from there. They could be looking at a Legion, maybe. A Legion on, which would be why they would want to do Storm on 4. Kind of a sneaky play. No, Blink to switch out the Sunspot for Jubilee, and then into Sunspot again would have been so funny. But it's fine. Xandar goes into middle. Savage Land to the right. We have the lead in the left heavily. We have a little bit of one in the right location. And so we should be able to just, I think, smack down a Red Hulk. Call it good.
Victory.
We do get the 2-cube retreat. That's what this deck is going to do. It's going to force retreats. You have to play it aggressively. Having tempo with a Negasonic can give you so much value, and it can put your opponent into just unwinnable play lines. So we will take the 2 cubes. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Mad Knight. I'm going to go ahead and play Nebula into the left location. If they fill it up early, great. Our Nebula can scale from that point on. If not, then we're going to push to try to potentially fill it up early as well. We can't play on turn number 2, unfortunately. We do have Negasonic for turn number 3, potentially. And so, depending on the 50-50 coin flip here, unfortunately, they get the 50-50 flip. I was hoping we did, because I think their Mobius goes in the left lane. We could have destroyed their Mobius. I would have been so giddy had we done that, but unfortunately, that does not look like what happened. Is it ever worth it to do a Jubilee? Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. We're going to do Jubilee. We do have Blink to rotate Jubilee out, and we could potentially get a free raft resource. Now, it's not going to be discounted. Well, they're going to get it first. A second Pixie? Negasonic. Okay, that makes sense. This is a nice play. It popped the Negasonic. And then we have Red Guardian, which is going to hit their Wasp. And we have a temporary lead here, but it's not huge. Let's go ahead and play Blink. We do have another Jubilee, so if for some reason we need to dig into our deck, we can. But I like the idea of Blink into like a White Widow next turn. A White Widow plus Jubilee, or we can just throw Red Hulk onto the board and get some pretty big value as well. And so we get Blink down. They could potentially have Blink as well. And so then that would switch their Wasp for something else. No, they have Jane Foster. And so 5 and 4, after it goes off, it is still 5 and 4. So they didn't pull any zero-cost card out. Thankfully, they had Wasp in hand early. And so with Dr. Doom coming down, we have some decent pressure here, here, and here. I almost think we just drop Red Hulk and tra-la-la-la-la the rest of the way home. We could also do like a Jubilee plus a White Widow. Jubilee could potentially pull into Jubilee, which would be treacherous. Do we want to risk that? Our ideal pull there would be Claw. This is going to be a 6 power play. And then potentially 8 and 9 power play. It never beats just flat Red Hulk though, right? I think we lock in the Red Hulk. We do get the 1 cube retreat. We need to play it a little bit more aggressively, but I'm having fun just getting these games as far as we can through and just putting them into positions that are just unwinnable. So we'll take the 1 cube. Let's go ahead and jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Longy, and it is my self-imposed nemesis. The first time I played them on video, they absolutely swindled me for I think 4 or 8 cubes. I played them earlier when I was running a Sage deck, and I had so many problems recording that I ended up having to just scrap it. The first time it didn't record any audio. The second time the audio was in the wrong encoder settings, and so it wouldn't go into my editor. It was just a whole afternoon. And during that time, we did face Longy, and we were able to beat them. But I still feel like they're my nemesis for some reason. A friendly rivalry for sure. So they have Forge. I think we're going to go ahead and we could do Space Stone. We could do something like Jeff plus Space Stone. That allows us to do Jubilee. We can save Red Guardian for something a little bit more important, like maybe, I don't know, a Patriot? And, or if they're going to go Silver Surfer line, that could be something we have to look out for as well. But let's go Leech, and then maybe next turn we dig with Blink. The Leech interaction is just broken. It should never be a 4 cost with the backup line of rotating it for something actually impactful. And so Hope Summers, I'm thinking that they're running a Silver Surfer deck, and I'm hoping that they had it in hand. We do end up drawing into Blink. And so they go Nocturne plus Gladiator. Interesting. And so Gladiator could potentially pull into our Doctor Doom for us. Could also pull into any of the other two and would end up not helping us out at all. I almost want to go Claw instead. That'd be silly. Claw would help support here. They don't have on reveals. I think it's silly. We always go Blink here. Blink is always the play. Gladiator is going to come down. It's going to pull out our nothing because of Leech, of course. Of course. And so Blink's going to switch into Doctor Doom, giving us a pretty good push. Red Hulk in the right lane is huge. Their Sage comes down, is not beneficial at all in the least. Now, if they had Silver Surfer, that'd be 2, 4, 6, 8. Pushes it up to 20, so that wins it for us, even if they top deck the Silver Surfer. And then something like this could push the other power into this location. We're going to do 5 power with the Red Guardian. Negasonic is going to help kind of curb any additional card that gets played there. So if they do, like, I don't know, a Shaw, trying to get that extra push into Oscorp Tower, we're going to destroy it with our Negasonic, which is one of the really big benefits to this build and being able to have so much tempo on the opponent. A Negasonic, especially late game Negasonic, can be absolutely detrimental. So Absorbing Man pulls nothing. Their Mockingbird comes down. It would have given them the win in that location, but Negasonic absolutely wrecks it. We win right, we win left. They can have middle. Let's go ahead and jump over into one more. All right, next up we have Longy. The first location is the Icebox. Unfortunately, it does hit our Nebula, so we can't curve that all out on 1. We'll survive. I think we still probably play it on 2, just because it gives us so much control into kind of what and where the opponent plays. And so they skipped on 1 as well. We have Titan, which would make our Doctor Doom and Red Hulk 1 less energy, of course. I'm going to go ahead and play Nebula. Let's play it into the left lane. If they play a card, I think they play in the left this turn, potentially in Titan. But I think left is probably the most likely choice. They do not play on 2. So our Nebula is sitting free right now. Elysium comes down. Scary, scary, scary. Let's go ahead and play Leech. I'm going to play him into mid. That way we can play Blink. If it flips into Claw, perfect. We don't want to waste that in the right location. And so with Leech, I don't know what kind of deck they're running because they had to skip on the first 2. So I'm guessing it's a pretty high curve. So we have to look out for some really impactful. Ooh, it's Cerebro 3. And so with Leech, a potential Valkyrie line becomes a lot harder to initiate if they're wanting to like hide some counter cards here. So like a Shang-Chi, that becomes a little bit harder to do as well. So overall, I think we're in a really good spot still. And something like a Negasonic can be so detrimental as well. Or hitting a Red Guardian onto the Invisible Woman into a Negasonic. A lot of benefits. Let's go ahead and snap into it. Now, they could have... Ooh, they have the snapback. Very interesting to see. A very quick snapback at that. Now, I'm assuming this is Cerebro 3. We have a couple of ways to try to protect against it. Fast comes down. That does further kind of support my claim of Cerebro 3. And then the Shang-Chi comes down. We know that we don't have to worry about that. We do have to worry about a potential Valkyrie play. Kind of. We kind of have to worry about a potential Valkyrie play. Because we have White Widow. That's going to push here. Let's go ahead and play Jubilee as well. And then I'm going to play little old Jeff into the middle location. Not that I think they're going to do anything that negatively impacts this lane, but just in case. And then I don't think they cap this one out this turn. And so White Widow is going to make sure that we have that one handily locked away. Now, Claw. Oh, no. It's a little bit of overkill with the Claw now. And let's see. Magic to extend the game. Okay. That gives us some additional reach. We could potentially draw back into our Leech. Okay, well, They hurt us. Let's go Leech. Let's go Daredevil. And then we have a 50-50 of Negasonic. Negasonic is beautiful into the Elysium line because that would pop whatever the first card that they play after Invisible Woman, which a lot of times is going to be that Cerebro. And so the bro is going to be busted here, I think. And so Leech down. We have Daredevil, which is just there for stats. And then Mystique in the left lane, which, man, Red Guardian. Unfortunately, Red Guardian gets hit here. Red Guardian pops up here. I think there's a world where we lose this one to a Valkyrie. A Valkyrie over here. I wish we had Negasonic. We're gonna go ahead and give them the 8 cubes, I think. We'll see. We spread some power out decently. They can spread quite a bit of power as well though. So Dr. Doom comes down. It's for a big 8 cuber. We know that this is not gonna hit the Cerebro bonus, so maybe that is impactful.
I am Iron Man.
Iron Man, Rhino, and then Jeff. Interesting. Very, very surprising, but very interesting nonetheless. Cerebro in their bottom 2, I'm guessing. Not pretty. Negasonic would have made that a lot easier with the Iron Man, but we will take the 8 cubes where we can. And that is where we're going to go ahead and end the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.